Welcome back to your Etymology Encyclopedia podcast, where we debate the most creepy, crawly topics that you've all been wondering about. My name is Kennedy, and I will be representing the cochineal scale, also known as Dactylopius coccus.
And my name is Tiara, and I will be representing the silk moth, Bombyx mori. We will be debating on the idea of what insect is most impactful in historical context and compare which one has altered history the most. If this is something that you're interested in, stay tuned.
Okay guys, so the cochineal scale has played a crucial role in shaping history, particularly through its influence on agriculture, trade, and cultural practices related to natural dyes. It was originated in Central and South America. Cochineal scale has been used for centuries, particularly by indigenous cultures for its vibrant red dye, carminic acid, which is derived from the scale's bodies. This insect has a rich history that intertwines with the development of textile arts and global dye trade. Biologically, the cochineal scale undergoes a simple life cycle consisting of egg, nymph, and adult stages. As an adult, it attaches to host plants, primarily cacti, feeding on their sap and producing the crimson pigment that has been highly sought after since ancient times. The scale's ability to yield a stable, intense color made it a valuable commodity, especially before synthetic dyes emerged in around the 19th century. Culturally, the significance of cochineal scale cannot be overstated. Its uses dates back to Aztec and Maya, who utilized it not only for dyeing textiles, but also for ceremonial and artistic purposes. The Spanish, also conquest of the Americans, saw cochineal scale become a major export to Europe, where it fueled the demand for vibrant, colorful fabrics and cosmetics. The ensuing trade created economic opportunities and transformed local economies, leading to shift in agricultural practices to accommodate cochineal production. In terms of its impact on humanity, the cochineal scale has significantly influenced global trade dynamics. It became one of the most lucrative commodities, rivaling precious metals in value during the colonial period. The dye's widespread popularity in Europe and beyond led to the establishment of trade routes and relationships that shaped economic policies and cultural exchanges between continents. While the silk moth is often lauded for its role in luxury fashion and the development of sericulture, the cochineal scale's influence extends beyond textiles. It has played a vital role in agricultural innovation, economic transformation, and cultural identity. The transition from traditional dyeing processes to modern applications reflects the cochineal scale's adaptability and significance in contemporary industries, including food and cosmetics. So in conclusion, the cochineal scale has changed history through its profound impact on agriculture, trade, and cultural expression. Its legacy as a symbol of value and craftsmanship is enduring, illustrating how a small insect can wield substantial influence over economic and cultural landscapes throughout history. In context of silk moths' more focused contribution to luxury textiles, the cochineal scale's broader implications for trade and cultural practices underscore its transformative role into shaping our world.
The silk moth has been deemed by many entomologists to be one of the most influential insects in the vast history of fashion, economics, trade, genetics, and engineering, and many other fields of culture and practices. This insect is most commonly known for the role that it plays in silk production. The silk moth can be traced back to ancient China, and due to its inherent abilities, has been domesticated and genetically modified for over 5,000 years. The species that we know today derive from a species named Bombyx madurina, which is commonly known to be found in China, India, Korea, and Japan. Another seemingly interesting fact about this species is that it has been entirely domesticated, meaning that there are no wildlife species. This process began as artificial selection. The silk moth passes through 4 distinct life stages, including the egg, larvae, pupae, and the adult. The silk moth is often called the silkworm during its larval stage and is most popular and common. This is when the insect participates in silk production. The silkworms have soft, cylindrical, segmented bodies that are usually white cream or color. The silkworm produces silk when they are ready to enter the pupal stage of their life right before adulthood. They secrete the silk from glands specialized to spin a protective cocoon around themselves, which oftentimes can produce silk that is 1,000 to 3,000 feet long in nature. Following this pupal stage, in which they are wrapped in the silk cocoon, the silkworm transitions into what is known as the silk moth. The fully adult silk moth has a short, stubby appearance with wings that are typically white, since most silk moths today are domesticated and cannot fly. Presently, the silk moth cannot live independently and relies solely on human habitat for food and all other things that it needs to survive. The silk moth from the beginning of time has been noted as a symbol of wealth and luxury. The origins of its symbols stem from China, as this is where the process of sericulture was introduced. The insect was the pioneer of the silk trade movement and a catalyst in both fashion, the social construction of luxury, and facilitated trade between countries for years to come. This is the most influential insect, as its presence in China is fueled the rest of the world to participate in trade and development within East Asian regions. I think that it is so fascinating to understand how one tiny insect has now paved the way for tremendous advancements in the avenues of commerce. The silkworm currently is 100% domesticated, which is now the sole producer of all silk in the world economy. The life cycle and product of the silk today is still revered and highly coveted. The values of luxury, quality, and wealth are still present in the product created by the silk moth and will be until the end of time.
The cochineal scale, much like the silk moth, also had a seemingly large impact on global trade network. It is evident that the initial product of the silk moth may seem to be more luxurious. However, the cochineal scale affects civilizations on a broader standpoint. These insects influence commodities such as art, textiles, and cosmetic industries dating back all the way to the 16th century. This heavily influenced the importance and significance of colored dyes for many different regions of the world. Being that the cochineal scale influences more areas of culture other than simply fashion, this makes the insect more impactful on a global scale. The silk moth's impacts are severely confined to modern textiles and fashion, whereas the cochineal scale played a larger role in areas including artistic fashion and cultural identity. The dyes that cochineal scale were able to produce seemingly had a larger impact on the visual arts of many world-renowned artists in combination with its textile influence. This is seemingly an impact that the products of the Bombyx mori simply do not have.
I do understand the perspective given, however, it is evident that the silk moth has been more impactful over a large range of area. It was mentioned that the cochineal scale originated in Aztec and Inca regions of the world and were used for their dyes. This is evidence that their trade unit was not as large as the international silk trade. The silk moth originated in China, and its species began to spread throughout all parts of Asia, Europe, and some parts of Africa to harvest silk created by these insects. This was seemingly a larger trade region than that produced by the cochineal scale, therefore making it more impactful economically over time. Additionally, the luxury of the product created by the silk moth is the reason why this insect is so revered. The industry of the silk trade is dominated by the Bombyx mori silkworm, making up, as statistics show, 90% of the global silk production. Inevitably, this means that without the silk moth, we would lose the ability to produce genuine silk in its entirety.
I think that my opponent has given a valid argument. However, the level of impact should not solely be measured on the geographical spread, but also the economic dominance. This is because the red dye produced by cochineal scale was often referred to as red gold. This means that it was highly coveted by consumers of that time. The dye has been used currently by all social classes in many different aspects, such as painting, cosmetics, food, and pharmaceuticals. Unlike the productions of the silk moth that are often confined to high luxury goods, the red dye produces affordable, eco-friendly products for all people. The cochineal scale also remains relevant in the new wave of creating environmentally resilient conditions. With our world slowly beginning to reject artificial methods of coloring dyes, this provides a natural, more sustainable route that many people can get behind. This is a benefit to the environment and human society. While the silk moth has proven that due to silk moth's domestication, it is also a concern for animal welfare. The cochineal scale is not only more impactful throughout different commodities, but is also seen as more beneficial for the environment as well. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. While the cochineal scale has had an extreme influence in areas like dyes and cosmetics, this does not surmount to the economical and cultural significance of the Bombyx mori. The Silk Road was named after the product of this insect, and although we have already discussed its impact on the silk trade, the Silk Road was famously known for creating an avenue of global commerce for countries including China, Central Asia, the Middle East, and many others. This road linked these countries and gave way for cross-cultural changes, diplomacy, and even technological advancements. This was more profound than the red dye trades that were severely more localized to the Americas and Europe. Additionally, silk is not simply confined to luxury markets, or for that matter, the textile industry. Its products go beyond the fashion world and have spread into areas such as military equipment, medical innovations, and biotechnology. This is because for cultures all over the world, its unique qualities of strength and flexibility are highly coveted. It is also important to note that while the cochineal scale's dye production was very popular in the 16th century and many years following, its impact has severely diminished to become less increasingly relevant. The value of silk from its origins has remained irreplaceable with its unique qualities compared to none.
So, in conclusion, the cochineal scale has demonstrated a profound and diverse impact on global trade, culture and innovation, surpassing the silk moth in its breadth for influence. While the silk moth is considered to be revered in the area of luxury styles, the cochineal scale's influence can be seen to reach a much farther scale. It is also important to note that the cochineal scale has also proven to be relevant even in today's culture, especially considering the growing environmental concerns present in today's culture. The cochineal scale is also gaining attention in scientific research, especially in fields such as biomedicine and sustainable agriculture. The carnica acid produced by this insect is being studied for its antioxidant and anti-inflammation properties, offering potential application in pharmaceuticals. Furthermore, the cochineal scale's ability to thrive in harsh environments is of growing interest in research focused in resilient agriculture and the preservation of biodiversity in the face of climate change. The cochineal scale has a wide range of both historical and present significance, and has this ability to affirm that it is the most impactful insect that is still changing the world. The cochineal scale will never lose its relevance and continue to be beneficial in today's society as a whole.
In conclusion, the silk moth, Bombyx mori, stands as a monumental force in shaping not only the textile industry, but various different fabrics, global trade, culture, and innovation. While the cochineal scale has made notable contributions to dye production, the silk moth's impact is unparalleled, spanning over many continents. It is also important to note that silk is not all about luxury. It also represents innovation and adaptations. The silk moth serves as a model organism in scientific research. Its domestication and unique biological properties make it an ideal candidate for studies of genetics, biotechnology, and sustainable practices. Researchers are exploring ways to harness this silk for applications ranging from biodegradable materials to advanced medical devices. This shows how the silk moth maintains an ongoing relevance in addressing modern challenges. Ultimately, the silk moth represents a unique intersection of history, culture, and science that is unprecedented in the insect domain.
Thank you all for listening.
And let us know what insect you think is the most impactful.
Bye!